Zoom in.
There we go. I think we're live now. That took a long time to roll up and get moving. It's always an adventure here with myself, Bill Pollock from MissouriNet.com, and Jason West from MSHSAA. I thought things were going to go smooth, but, that'd be par for the course for us to have something hiccup. So I think we're off and rolling. Jason, thanks for joining me. And we were talking before this thing fired up, just kind of going over our notes of what we wanted to discuss. And here it is, February 1st. And you mentioned that we've already got some state championships coming up in a couple of weeks. And when you'd mentioned wrestling and swimming and diving, I think my response, championships already?
Exactly. We're 2 weeks away now, within 2 weeks of the wrestling championship starting, and then girls swimming and diving the same weekend. So it's just bam right here all of a sudden.
I mean, where did January go? We had very mild weather, and you kind of. I was thinking after the holidays that if we can just push through these next 2 months, we're going to be in good shape. January kind of blew right past us.
Yeah, we were enjoying the weather so much that we forgot that it was actually January.
Let's talk about the month of January. How has everything been going sports wise in terms of our high schools? Any big issues that have come up? And then I know you guys also had a couple of meetings. Maybe we'll just touch on that stuff real quick.
I think everything's been going very smoothly. Not heard of any major controversies that have evolved from contests themselves. Had a few little newsmakers here and there, but it's been a very smooth season so far on the basketball floor, wrestling mats, and in the swimming pools. And the area meetings that we had in early January went very well. There were some very good discussions that were had at those meetings, and some very thoughtful ideas that came out of those meetings, and were discussed with the board at our board meeting last week, and may be further discussed as we get the questionnaire out this month.
I think there were 11 or 12 topics that you had at these regional meetings.
There were 11 topics, and then another one kind of spun out of those in terms of a concussion insurance program that I believe some of the companies are offering now. That was what was brought up at the board meeting last week, and will be added to the questionnaire this month.
Now, I know this is still very early in the process, but is there anything that potentially could change for next year in terms of rules or policies or anything, or is it still too early for you to comment on that yet?
I'd say it's still a little too early. There were a lot of discussions and some good ideas that were brought to the table during the area meetings in regards to summer contact participation days, also in regards to the multiplier for non-public schools and things like that. So there were some very good discussions, both on both sides of the issues that were brought up, and we'll dive into those a little bit more on the questionnaire this month.
Well, and that'll be something that I'm sure we'll talk about with you down the road. By the way, these MSHSAA Google Hangouts are brought to you by Missouri NEA. If there was a teacher or faculty member who had a big impact on your life, they want to hear about it. Teacherwordsmatter.org. It's your chance to win $500. All right, Jason, we've got wrestling. Wrestling will be at Mizzou Arena. Swimming and diving, where's that held?
That's at the Recplex in St. Peter's.
All right, and we'll talk about that a little bit more next week as we get closer. You guys are also in the process of sending out an RFP for basketball for a couple of seasons from now. Can you talk a little bit about that process?
Sure. It's that time of the rotation to send those proposals out, requests for proposals, what RFP stands for. And so we've sent those out to people that have put in bids in prior occasions, and then also sent out a message to our membership if they know of someone in their community that maybe their community has beefed up some things and have venue that may work for that. We've hopefully they can get in touch with the office and request a packet as well. So we'll have that process going on and have until I believe it's March 21st, just after the championships wrap up, and we'll have those proposals due and start taking a look at possible venues for not next year, but the year after next.
For the 17-18 season, how long have you guys been up in Columbia?
It's been several years, early 90s, I believe maybe 91. It's been at either the Hearn Center or Mizzou consecutively here.
And what are some of the things that you guys would look at? I would have to think seating capacity. I mean, you certainly have to have enough for crowds to accommodate crowds, parking, just general getting around, those type of things. Is that what you guys focus in on?
There are multiple things. Obviously the infrastructure of the facility itself. Currently, for the 1 day of Class 1, 2, and 3 weekend, we're using 2 facilities to be able to accommodate all of those semifinal games on Thursday, and then have third place on Friday, championship Saturday. So we would look and see if there's 2 venues available for that day. Or if the package is just too good to pass up, we may look at revamping the schedule to be able to accommodate 1 facility versus 2, like we'd had for several years. We've been on the, I believe it was 2011 was the first year we did the 2 venue on Thursday and split that day. So we look at those things as well as, like you said, parking and ease of getting in and out of the venue, traffic flow, because we know every 2 hours we're going to have a new crowd come in and need to get the old crowd out, the new crowd in. So we look at the traffic flow of that, and then also look at the community itself. Is the community helping promote the event? Is it a good fit for friends and families and fans of those teams and the teams themselves at hotels, getting good rates at hotels and things like that, or the restaurants participating and promoting the event, providing discounts or any other type of services for the teams and the fans that are coming there. So we try to take a look, and that's with all of the RFPs that we send out, not just basketball or not just wrestling or not just volleyball and softball. These are some of the things that we look at for all of those sports when we send out for RFPs for the championship venues.
And I mean, you guys are still quite a ways out. You've got, a season plus, but when will decisions be made? And how many proposals do you guys get for this?
For basketball, we've gotten 4 or 5 possible places to look at. Columbia, Springfield, St. Louis has put in a couple of. Kansas City Sports Commission has put in a bid before. Even Cape Girardeau has put in a bid. Joplin is getting very active. So we get a few requests from really all over the state. But there's still some major players that bid on things on a regular basis. So we look to get at least 4 or 5 different ones this year. That's
good. And then when is a decision made?
Hopefully we'll be able to have everything put together by the June board meeting. That will give us enough time in early April before the spring championships really get steam rolling and have a chance to look at possible venues and do some site visits and things like that, and sit down and talk with the people that bid and get some more information that may not be part of their big proposal package. So typically we'll try to do something at the June board meeting then.
All right, Jason West from MSHSAA getting us caught up. Next week, we'll talk about wrestling, swimming, and diving, and give our listeners just some more information on what they can expect if they're attending those events. And then I also want to talk to you too, Jason. We mentioned this a few weeks ago, but now that the Rams are leaving and heading to LA, what type of impact that has for you guys with the Show Me Bowl. So we can touch on that next week.
Sounds great.
All right. Thanks for watching us. MissouriNet.com for all of our high school coverage. And we'll talk to you again soon.